as the Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif was flattering Donald Trump in a cringe manner by nominating him for the Nobel Peace Prize for a second time during the so-called peace summit in Sharm el-Sheikh. Ironically, Pakistan had no constructive role to play in the whole peace summit. It was just making up the numbers. But as usual, they are seeking credit for everything everyone does. So he was nominated. During the same time, his troops were cracking down on a protest march against this very accord, which was being organized by the Saad Rizvi led Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan. So it was a brutal crackdown, and they were protesting against this. They were marching. This group was marching towards supposed to march towards the U.S. embassy in Islamabad. It was stopped in Murudke, and there are reports that scores of people have been left dead after this crackdown. The Pakistani media is silent about it. And during the same time, in a couple of days, the Pakistani army clashed with Afghanistan army, so as to say the Taliban army. And yesterday, Asim Munir has started issuing threats to India again. So you understand the conundrum called Pakistan, the whole cauldron called Pakistan. We have with us General Prakash Malik, former Chief of Army Staff. Welcome to Samvad, sir.
Thank you, Mayank. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Sir, thank you, sir. Sir, we know that the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan came into existence to defend the killers of Salman Taseer, who was the governor of, I believe, the Punjab province, on a blasphemy issue. And it is supposed to be, what should I say, a protege of the Pakistani army, and it is used to create political instability. But this Muridke thing, although the Pakistani media is not saying anything about it, but there are Western media reports that maybe possibly 180 people. We are not sure of the numbers. We are not claiming the numbers to be authentic. But there has been large-scale violence and people have been killed in Muridke. Now, sir, there are parallels being drawn with the Lal Masjid incidents in 2007, where the army under General Pervez Musharraf cracked down on a similar group of Islamists, and which led to the birth of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which is again creating problems for Pakistan. My question to you is, what are your views on the comparison? That is the first part of the question. And secondly, why did the army use kinetic force on the TLP? Because they were protesting against for a cause, I would say, which has been the cause of Pakistan for a very long time, the Palestinian cause.
Thank you. I can understand why you are raising this question, because the TTP has always been, it was raised by Pakistan, and then subsequently it started biting Pakistan itself. And this new organization, which I think was raised sometime in 2016, 15, 16.
Yes, sir.
Tehreek-e-Labbaik. It came up primarily, it was raised by a person who himself was a Maulvi in the government, and then he was thrown out. And this person has been right from the beginning against dilution of the Blasphemy Act, which has been passed by the government of Pakistan. And that has been his cause right from the beginning. And every time anybody who has tried to dilute the blasphemy law, they have protested very strongly. So that has been, and these are I would call it, on the extreme right side kind of people, Islamist people who cannot take anything going against the Islam religion per se. Now, when you mention about their man killing the governor of Pakistan, governor of Punjab, Tasif what was his name?
Salman
He
Taseer.
was, I think,
Salman Taseer.
Salman Taseer. And the person who assassinated Salman Taseer was his bodyguard. And he was subsequently made a hero by this organization, TLP. And although he was subsequently hanged, he was punished and he was hanged. But the fact is that TLP, right from the beginning, has been one of the extremist Islamist populist party. And it has off and on come out with large amount of following, marching towards Rawalpindi, stopping traffic in that area. And last time when they did that, the Pakistan army, that was during Imran Khan's time. And at that time, Imran Khan wanted to take them to task, and in fact, he banned this party for a while. But then it was the Pakistan army, particularly the ISI, which intervened, which managed to pay them some money and gave them assurance. The ban was also lifted, and these people went back to wherever they came from. And these are primarily Punjabi people. Incidentally, this party is now number 3 in Punjab. They don't get along well with the other party in power, Shehbaz Sharif party, and Shehbaz Sharif's niece, who's the chief minister of that place, that party. So my feeling is that Pakistan army has been using this party, TLP, as a proxy against the political parties. Earlier, they used it against Imran Khan's party, and now they are using it against Nawaz Sharif's party. It's a proxy kind of an organization as far as the army is concerned. And the army, Pakistan army, as you know, they're quite expert in using proxies. They are using proxies against us for such a long time. And now they are using this proxy against their own political parties because they want to remain in power. So this is a big tool in their hand today. And you are right. These people, the TLP, started agitating recently in October. And they wanted to go in a march from Lahore to Islamabad and then protest against the American embassy building. An American embassy, they wanted to protest there. And all preparations had been made in Rawalpindi by the Pakistani government as well as the army to stop them from coming. But in between, these people were stopped by none other than Nawaz Sharif's party, headed by his daughter, in Lahore itself, in Muridke. And there was much violence. We don't know the extent of number of people who were killed. But yes, you are right. It could be anything between 11 to much more than that. Some people had initially reported 11, but I think probably there were much more.
Yes, sir.
So this is one party which is being used by the Pakistan army. That's my feeling, to oppose or to make sure that the Pakistan political parties are kept in place. And even now I feel, although there has been no statement from Pakistan army, but I feel that this whole thing was set up. And the result that you see is making sure that Nawaz Sharif's party, they have kept quiet after that. Although the head of this party, the Amir of this party, TLP, he is Saad Rizvi. He's still in prison. And Nawaz Sharif's daughter, who's the chief minister, she wants to take action. But so far, no action has been taken against Saad Hussain or the other people.
But sir, what is I found very ironic, and maybe you can throw light on this, because this Palestinian cause, this has been Pakistan's cause, because if you read the Pakistani newspapers, for the past, I mean, ever since the Israelis have started bombing Gaza, the headlines pertain only to Gaza. It's only about Palestine. It's a lot less about Pakistan and more about Palestine. It's a constant cause. So why attack somebody so brutally when they are protesting in your favor? Because this is their common cause Pakistanis have. So they are protesting against a peace deal, because we know that 66,000, I believe, people in Gaza have been killed. So obviously they have a right to protest. So why take away somebody's right to protest? What makes them do that?
There is no doubt that public in Pakistan, they are with Palestinians. There has been no doubt about that at all. In fact, the public in Pakistan even now is not taking it properly, not taking it well. The fact that Shehbaz Sharif and Asim Munir, the army chief, these people, the way they have been hobnobbing with President Donald Trump, and the way they have been doing the chimchagiri of Donald Trump. And this is what you saw in when this agreement was signed there in Sharm el-Sheikh. But the fact is that there is a considerable amount of opposition to this cause, and they are also the Pakistan Army and the Pakistan government today. They also want to show to the USA that, look, we also have people who are for Palestinians. I mean, they can't totally shut them up. So this agitation also was probably being used to make sure that the Americans also get the message, what is happening in Pakistan, and that Pakistan will not be able to go to the other extreme of siding with Israel. You never know. Tomorrow, President Donald Trump may ask Pakistan to recognize Israel, and you can imagine what will happen. So this is a kind of a guard against that they will not be asked, or they should not be asked to recognize Israel. And so that is the second aspect, the international aspect, I feel, about it. And so it serves a purpose. As I said, when you are making use of proxies, you are manipulating the domestic politics to suit your own personalities and your own personal images. So that is how it is being used by Pakistan Army, I believe.
The TLP, per se, Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, is neither the first, and given the past history we have with the Pakistani army, it will not be the last of these proxy organizations inside Pakistan. They have proxies for India, they have proxies for Afghanistan, they have proxies in Iran also, I believe. But these are internal proxies. So this is not the first. So I have never been able to understand as to what makes the Pakistani army first create these organizations and then sort of start disowning them and start keeping distance from them, as has happened with this TLP group. It has been a rabid organization from the very start. The demands they have been making are absolutely rabid and absolutely horrendous, but they have been pampered. Now what I read in the Western, some of the Western websites and news sites, is that these people were ambushed in Muridke. They were diverted through Muridke. They were marching to Islamabad, which was not allowed, right? Diverted through Muridke and trapped in a place which was a sort of a military ambush. So what makes the Pakistani army first create them and then destroy them?
Firstly, Mayank, the shooting that took place in Muridke was not done by Pakistan Army. Please remember, it was Pakistan Police.
Sir.
It was Punjab Police which did that. And Punjab Police functions under the Chief Minister of Punjab. So,
sir,
please remember that.
Sir, are we to presume that the Chief Minister of Punjab is independent in taking actions, independent from Asim Munir's directions?
Yeah, I mean, she may not have even spoken to Asim Munir on that. It's quite possible,
Sure.
And as I told you right in the beginning, that this party, what is the name of the Chief Minister? I forget.
Maryam
anyway,
Nawaz. Maryam Nawaz.
Maryam Nawaz's party does not get along well with TLP. That is well known because they are in competition with each other. And she may not even have discussed this whole issue when this agitation was building up. Mind you, in Rawalpindi, preparations were being done. They had kept all those containers on the road to make sure that they don't reach Rawalpindi. So it is quite possible. As far as Pakistan Army is concerned, now they have become expert in manipulating both domestic as well as the situation on the border through their proxies. They haven't learned the lesson of raising snakes in their backyard, which has been, and I have always said that when you have mad dogs being raised, once in a while they will bite you also, and that's what is happening. And so you are quite right that earlier it was the TTP which was raised by them, and then subsequently it started fighting them, and now they are fighting against TTP. And but they, they have also learned to manipulate these proxies. And I still feel that this is another proxy which has been raised by them to manipulate the domestic politics in Pakistan.
Sir, I'll shift attention to their issue with Pakistan's issue with Afghanistan. Now, for a very long time, it was said that they have this obsession with strategic depth against India and seeking that strategic depth in Afghanistan. I mean, which is very ironic because every country has a sovereignty, and why will any country allow its territory to be used as strategic depth? But we might say that, but that was the reality. It was happening. Now, Taliban was supposed to be the protector of the Afghanistan-Pakistan border. They were allowed to impose their middle stone age, I would say, diktats on the people living in those areas. Fundamentalism took away whatever enlightenment was available in the region. And now Taliban has turned. And Taliban is now saying that there is no border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. It was a long-standing Pashtun demand, but Taliban is saying it very firmly, and it is just an artificial line created by the British. Now, this throws the whole theory of strategic depth under the bus. So, my thing is that Pashtuns have been fundamentally very independent people. But somehow Pakistan was managing them. What has gone wrong between Afghanistan and Pakistan? To be very precise, Taliban and Pakistan.
Mayank, firstly, let's understand the geography of this place. And, earlier it was called Northwest Frontier Province, and now it is called KPK. As you know, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, as they call it. Now, I come from that area, incidentally. I was born in that area. And the geography of this place, on the western side, bordering Afghanistan, they had Waziristan, which was earlier called Federally Administered Territory. It was FATA. And FATA was merged. FATA was merged with the KPK sometimes later, I think in early 20s. Now, FATA area, I mean, they had the northern Waziristan and the southern Waziristan. Northern Waziristan always had militancy along the Afghanistan-Pakistan border, and it was made full use of from the late 79 onwards, when the American and aided by the Pakistanis, they were fighting against the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. Now that area, as it is, was a volatile place earlier as Waziristan, and then it became even more volatile after the Pakistan proxies started fighting in Afghanistan. Now, the northern Waziristan continues to be a place where TTP was raised, and it is now continuing. The southern Waziristan, which is now divided into two districts, again part of KPK, that also has a large number of Pashtuns. Now, as I said, western side of Indus River is primarily uh, a majority Pashtun population.
Mm-hmm.
Place where I was born, most people spoke Pashto in that. It is Pashto people, they were there.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, uh, Pashtun people have never recognized Durand Line, which was imposed by the British, and they have never realized. In fact, I remember one of my students when I was a colonel in Army War College at that time, infantry school. He came to me, he said, sir, we are looking, and he was an Afghan student. He came, he said, sir, we are looking forward to the Afghanistan army and the Indian army shaking hand across the Indus River. I mean, that was his statement he made to me, because when he learned that I was coming from that area, so he thought that he could speak it. Now, that has been their feeling right from the beginning. Even today, they have not accepted Durand Line. And therefore, and they have been, moving across this Durand Line quite freely all along. Even today, they are moving quite freely, frankly, despite all the posts that have been created now by the Pakistan Army in these areas. So first, the geography must be understood. Geography is in favor of the Pashtuns, whether they are part of TTP or they are part of Afghan Taliban. The geography favors them. And that is what is happening along. The other thing is they are not accepting Durand Line. Both Afghanistan doesn't accept it, neither these Pashtuns who are in these Waziristan area. They also don't accept it. In fact, the whole of KPK, a large number of them, they don't accept it. So that is the geographical situation part of it. Now, there is no doubt that TTP was, or I would say Taliban, they were raised during the time of this lady Prime Minister of Pakistan,
Benazir Bhutto.
Benazir Bhutto ke time pe upar. The Interior Minister was a retired army officer who had raised Taliban, and then Taliban was made full use of in both part of Waziristan as well as in Afghanistan. And as you know, subsequently, it was the Taliban which managed to get control of the whole of Pakistan, Afghanistan, till the Americans came in 2001. So at that stage, the Taliban, when they got hold of the whole of Afghanistan, they got out of the hand of the Pakistanis. And although the Pakistan army kept thinking that they are our bachas and we can manipulate, we can make use of them because they had been raised by them, but it wasn't so actually. They were quite independent, and Afghans have always been independent-minded. So they were not prepared to accept anybody else controlling them as such. So that has been the attitude of Taliban, both which are now ruling Afghanistan. They are not going to accept any diktats from Pakistan army or Pakistan as a nation. They think that we are an independent nation, and there is no question of providing depth to Pakistan and all. Pakistan may keep thinking of that, but that is not acceptable to them. Similarly, the Pashtuns on this side, in particularly Waziristan, southern Waziristan, which is now part of KPK, they are also not accepting that. And the other aspect is Pakistan army has been using very high-grade weapons, even Air Force, against these people. Now, that is not the way to pacify people. This is really quelling the whole issues there. And as a result, you are now making them more and more, I would say, enemies. And that is how the whole thing is. The insurgency, which was small scale earlier, now it is getting bigger and bigger. And the TTP, Pakistan blames Afghanistan, Taliban, that they are supporting TTP in Pakistan. And similarly, the Afghan Taliban are also blaming Pakistan that for no rhyme or reason, your people are entering our territory. and Pakistan Army has been using Air Force and all. And even yesterday, I think day before yesterday, they used Pakistan Air Force, in which some of these young cricketers, they got shot down also. So the problem, the issue between Pakistan and Afghanistan, with this background that I have given you, is now getting heightened, I would say. It is now escalating. And ये जो बीच थे ये तो बहुत पुराने हैं और वो बीच को अगर आपने ठीक तरीके से उसको इस्तेमाल नहीं किया और आपने उसको जाने दिया अपने हाथ से, now they have grown in such a way that I don't foresee much pacification in the coming days. They will continue to suspect each other, and this situation on the western border is not going to become like the old days when Pakistan was controlling part of Afghanistan.
Because we have reached a situation, sir, where Pakistan and Afghanistan, they are being mediated upon by Qatar in Doha. So which is quite surreal a situation where the protege and the mentor, they are discussing peace between themselves in a third country. So I believe it's partly to do with the arrogance of the Pakistani army, or let us say the Pakistani people per se, because they have looked down upon these people who are very independent minded people.
But no, so you're right. Pakistan Army, which is what really their government is, Pakistan government, all these issues on the border are dictated by the Pakistan Army. They are controlled by the Pakistan Army. So, as I said, that there is, as the violence increases in these areas, and then you start using very heavy weapons and Air Force, you are going to further alienate those people. And you are going to increase the look. We have this experience in our country. I mean, I have operated all kind of insurgency situation, whether it was in Mizoram, Nagaland, Punjab, or J&K. We have never used heavy weapons. We have never used weapons like, because you know that by using them, you are going to further alienate these people. So it's a very wrong military strategy which is being followed, or military tactics which are being followed by Pakistan Army. It is going to further alienate the situation and not make it peaceful or to control the situation.
So we have seen a situation that Pakistan is seen to be in a state of war ever since it got divided from India and became Pakistan in 1947. It was born out of religious violence, because that is the only reason Pakistan was born. Otherwise, there is no question of there being a Pakistan. It has been at war with India since 1947. It has been at war with Afghanistan, some ideological war going on. And ever since 1979, it has been a very hostile state vis-a-vis Afghanistan. Now, direct wars have started taking place recently, but they celebrated the victory of Taliban in 1995 and 2021. Now, again, they are celebrating some victory which they have won against India. The army is in a state of delirium that they win everything. Now, few months ago, I mean, the only example which I have close by is Israel, which is also at wars for a very long time. But it is fighting an existential war to save itself, where Pakistan is threatening the existence of its neighbors. Sir, my thing, I've never been able to understand as to, don't the Pakistani leaders, the Pakistani understand that a continuous war, a nation at continuous war, is not good for them?
Mayank, you mentioned about the Israelis fighting existential war. Okay, because their existence depends on that. Similarly, Pakistan Army is also conveying to people that their existence, the Pakistani existence, depends on their being able to save it from India. Instead of, but it is not the Pakistani public, but what they are trying to save is themselves. If there is no threat from India, what will Pakistan Army be doing?
Hmm.
So in order to maintain the status and the perks that they have managed to, and the political authority that they have managed to acquire over the years, it is only because they have shown that India is a big threat to Pakistan's existence.
Hmm.
And that continues.
Hmm.
So that is the reason behind that, behind the kind of situation. You are right that they have been fighting because they have to keep showing that they are fighting. If they don't show that they are fighting, then who will give them the kind of privileges that they have got?
Hmm.
After all, Pakistan government, says that they are a democratic country, but we
Hmm.
know it is not. It is all because of the selfish interests of the Pakistan army, which wants to retain the perks, the privileges, the authority that it has acquired over the years in Pakistan. And the main reason they can keep conveying to people is that there is a threat to Pakistan,
Hmm.
always from India.
Hmm.
And now they can say that also from Afghanistan as well as internally.
Hmm.
It gives them the rationale for remaining in power and having that authority.
True. So speaking of privileges, now there were reports when Asim Munir was in United States along with Shehbaz Sharif that the Pakistani army has offered the Pasni port, I believe, which is near Gwadar. So it's 100 odd miles away from Gwadar, 100 odd miles away from Iran border. They have offered this port to the US to develop. Now, such decisions are taken in a democracy by a political leadership. But in Pakistan, it is the generals who decide and then impose these decisions on the politicians. Now, is this why this unaccountability, I would say, is this the reason why they want to hold on to power? Because they don't seem to realize, again, I'm saying that don't seem to realize that Gwadar and Pasni developed, they might get into a situation of caught between a conflict between two superpowers. Is it so difficult to understand?
Mayank, while Pakistan has become more and more dependent on the Chinese for both money as well as for its development, and that is how the CPEC
Hmm.
was, came up. All the infrastructure that is coming up in Pakistan is totally dependent on the Chinese, and that has been an initiative taken by Mr. Bhutto, Benazir's father. He was the one who took that initiative, and that was followed up by both China as well as Pakistan civilian government, Nawaz Sharif, and even now the present government also. Now that is one side of the story. While Pakistan army is getting benefit out of that, and they know that it is because uh, uh, it is good for the Pakistan development. But their connection with US Army and their liking for the US Army and the patronage that was being given, that has never really
Hmm.
vanished. And even today, if you notice that all the generals, their money is kept in USA, their children are studying there, their kids and kin are there. Right from uh, every general that you can think of, they have generals as well as admirals and all.
They don't go to China, they go to US.
They go to so that connection has not really, and Americans are happy, you
Hmm.
know, and quietly a lot of dealings have been taking place. Pakistan Army has been doing this thing for quite some time. I must tell you that while the Americans were fighting against Taliban, one of their air bases on the western border was being used only by the Americans. The Pakistan Air Force was not using that. I don't remember the name of that air base. So this is likely to be correct. The information about giving away a small port to the Americans for development, and what will be the Chinese reaction, it is yet to be seen.
Hmm.
But I have no doubt the Chinese are at the moment watching quietly. They are letting these people play their hand, because Chinese are not interested today in investing more money in the CPEC, and yet as well as in Sharm el Sheikh. So they will react one day, and that we can wait for it, that something will happen on that side. But Pakistan Army today is quite capable of taking such decisions. I must tell you that. I think today Pakistan is seeing the weakest civilian government that for decades today.
True.
And Asim Munir, after he become field marshal, he is now dictating terms to the present government in power in Pakistan. There is absolutely no doubt about it.
So, talking about the sense of entitlement the Pakistani generals have, I was reading this a couple of lines where Professor Zunaid Ahmed, he's writing in Counter Currents, where he says that, I'm quoting him, the Pakistani army remains the same clique of opportunists it always was, more comfortable betraying its own people than defending them, more interested in Zionist fantasies than Islamic solidarity, more skilled at selling nuclear nightmares than building national prosperity, unquote. So you have seen the Pakistani army at very close ranges. Do you find this hyperbole or an apt description?
I think it's quite apt.
Sir.
It's quite apt. I have seen the way the Pakistan Army has grown up, the way the kind of fighting it has done against India, and they have lost every battle, and the kind of manipulation that goes on. They are today a more political organization, if you ask me, than a fighting organization. And there is a lot of manipulation that takes place in the higher ranks because they control the ISI, which is the largest intelligence branch that Pakistan has. And they have been able to manipulate the politicians for a very long time now in Pakistan. So let me tell you one thing. A lot of people in Pakistan believe that one of the reasons why Pakistan has not been able to make much of economic development and economic progress is also primarily because of the Pakistan Army. The kind of money that these people spend on themselves and in their organization. Pakistan Army is a very large business organization also. We all know that. And that is one of the reasons why the other part, the social part, the economic development part in Pakistan has got neglected. The other thing, since we are now talking about the Pakistani generals as such, today, I'm afraid the Pakistan Army generals, including the Field Marshal, there are more and more people who are talking against them in Pakistan. That's what I hear. That's what I read in the newspaper. And firstly, of course, they know what happened. Now they have got to know what happened during Operation Sindoor. And that was, on the other hand, made full use of to promote the army chief. He promoted himself to field marshal, and they also keep on, beating that drum that we are a very strong nation and all. And he continues to beat that drum even today. But by and large, people are now getting to know, realizing as to what is happening in that area. And they also know that a lot of political intervention takes place all along. After all, that's part of their history. So they are not as popular. And the latest also these problems that they are facing on Balochistan and on the Afghan border. I mean, these are recent. In fact, the internal security situation has worsened. And today they are battling almost, I would say, the worst internal security situation in the last decade, the kind of casualty that they have suffered. And it is all known to public in Pakistan. The highest number of casualties, I think they have suffered 2,400 or 500 casualties in the last 3 quarters of this year.
Mm.
It's a huge number. So that is not unknown to people of Pakistan. And one of the reasons why one can see the frustration in the Pakistan military hierarchy. They are suffering from that frustration also, and that's why they keep on beating the drum that we are the strong people, we are the strong, and yet on the ground they are unable to do much.
Mm.
And making use of air force and making use of heavy weapons against the Baloch people or against the TTP, who is really speaking, controlling half of KPK, their own province.
Mm.
So that is also part of frustration, I believe. So they are not in a good shape, and also they are losing credibility, but then they have the power, and they are continuing to manipulate people.
So this worsening internal security situation, the growing unpopularity and the growing resentment, this seems to make for a very deadly cocktail. And because it seems that there just could be possibility that this could make them more reckless towards India to gain popularity back home. Because yesterday, while speaking at the passing out parade of the Pakistani Army Academy, Military Academy parade at Kakul, Asim Munir, he said, and I'm quoting him, that I advise and firmly caution India's military leadership that there is no space for war in a nuclearized environment. And he carried on, we will never be intimidated nor coerced by your rhetoric and shall respond decisively beyond proportions to even minor provocation without any qualms. The onus of ensuing escalations, one that may ultimately bear catastrophic consequences for the entire region and beyond, will squarely lie with India. Now, and I'm closing this quote now. The same man threatened nuclear Armageddon from US, worsening internal security system, rising unpopularity. And as I said earlier, sir, this makes for a very deadly cocktail. So, do you see this non-state actors getting more active against India, more military adventurism? Because India has also been responding in a certain way, which is quite unusual for the Indian establishment to react like. So, do you see this whole cauldron boiling over somehow?
Yeah, there is no doubt that in this cauldron, it's not just the military or the internal security situation. You should also look at the economic side of it, because that also affects the common man. You see, what is happening in POK. They want concession to be able to purchase atta, dal, and they want concession to be able to have electricity. Now, these are basic items that anybody would want today. So the economic situation also is having an impact on these. So this cauldron, I'm saying it's not just internal security or whatever the military is doing. And there is a whole lot of issues which are coming up, social, political, as well as economic. And then, of course, you have the internal security situation, as well as external security situation, primarily caused by the Pakistani army itself. Now, coming to Asim Munir's speech in Kakul, there are two reasons for it. One, of course, the reason is, as I said, that they have to keep showing that, yes, we are a strong country and all. And that rhetoric has been there with every general who has come to power in Pakistan. To some extent, I would also blame that our own people also, we should not be indulging in this kind of rhetoric, which we have done in the recent past. The politicians can keep saying things of this nature, but military has to be quite, we don't sort of try and overdo these things. Once in a while, you can make a statement like that, but don't get involved in rhetoric every few days to show off your power or to show off to anybody else. So these are the reasons why, but you are quite right. At the moment, it is a cauldron which has started warming up. You never know when it starts boiling, but it is heating up. And there are all sorts of reasons for that. It is not only the Pakistan army or its doing, but the kind of political situation that you see, instability that you see. There is today major problem in Balochistan, where the trains are being hijacked. There's a major problem in KPK, where half the population is not with the Pakistan government as such, but they are more with the Pakistan Taliban. And there is also a lot of murmur in Sindh. And you also have seen a lot of agitation going on. I won't say violent situation, but there is a lot of agitation going on in the POK. So all provinces are, to some extent, except for Punjab, of course. And Punjab, you have seen TLP. I mean, that also is seeing violence. So this is a cauldron which is warming up, which is heating up, and you never know when it can boil and, over the pot, so to say. And but I would say primarily it is the Pakistan army and its doing which is to blame, because they are the one who are in power. They know that they have got weapons, including the weapons, nuclear weapons. Who has control over nuclear weapons in Pakistan? Only and only Pakistan army. Similarly, they have the power today because they have so much of money with them. They kind of, not just the pension and the other benefits that they can give to people who join Pakistan army. They give them land, they give them money, all sorts of things. So they have that power, and they are looking after themselves.
And they seem encouraged by the fact that Donald Trump, in his own maverick ways, has suddenly developed a sort of, it's not exactly an antipathy, but he's not very happy about India. So he's used that old American system of bringing out a spare tire, which is not very useful, but most of the times. But at times like this, he takes out the spare tire, which Pakistan army is, and suddenly starts using that tire to show the other tires that we can work without you. So does that encourage people like Munir?
Of course, he's a transactional man. I mean, the president of USA today, he's a totally transactional man. He always sees his own benefit first before he takes any initiative. And that is what he's doing. And he has now Shehbaz Sharif as well as Asim Munir eating out of his hand. You saw what happened in Sharm el-Sheikh. It was like pet dog being brought forward. And mind you, people in Pakistan are not liking. I mean, you've been reading Pakistani newspaper. You see the kind of comments that are coming on social media against their own prime minister, and they don't speak too much against their own army chief, because they're scared of him. But as far as their own politicians are concerned, they're making fun of them. And as far as Donald Trump is concerned, he is a totally transactional man. He is getting his personal benefit with those, cryptocurrencies and minerals and things of this nature. So he will continue to get as much money or as much profit out of the whole thing. And once he has used them, then you know what can happen to Pakistan. So that is a sad situation also, because they are playing into that. But in the meantime, one feels sad that relations between India and USA are also cooling off a bit, because the kind of statement that the US administration is making. And if they continue to Pakistan and USA, or I would say, as long as President Donald Trump continues to make use of them openly, the Pakistani leadership openly, the way he's doing, people in India are not going to like that. And people in India, naturally will cool off after some time, as far as USA is concerned.
That is happening, sir. And there are times when I feel that America uses Pakistani army in the manner the Pakistani army uses organizations like the TLP. It's all very beneficial without any accountability. Sir, one final question. You're not into this, and I'm dragging you into this, but as a fortune teller, sir, say 20 years down the line, sir, do you see Pakistan in the same geographical shape it is as of now, given the internal situations it has?
I think it will be very difficult to see a total breakdown. And, these 4 provinces that they have got, anybody becoming independent and all, because Pakistan army, we cannot forget the strength of the Pakistan army. Let's not undermine that organization so much. We may have anything. I mean, I am saying so much against them, but the fact is that it's a very, very strong organization within Pakistan. I don't see that allowing any state, any of their provinces to break out, and so that kind of authority that they have over the Pakistani people, I would say, it's not going to permit them to permit any state to break out, to have the kind of situation that we have seen in Bangladesh. They will come down hard on anybody that they're quite likely to do that.
But you foresee this instability continuing?
Yeah, instability will continue. It can even get worse, and the economic situation can get worse. But to say that these 4 provinces will break up, and we will not have Pakistan, or we will have these independent Balochistan and all, I don't foresee that, frankly. I'm talking of next 20 years. You said that 20 years.
20 years, sir. 20 years, I said. Thank you so much.
I mean, but it's very difficult to foresee beyond that. So I next 10, 20 years, I can't foresee Pakistan people in different provinces being allowed by the Pakistan army to break Pakistan.
That's the operative word, sir, being allowed. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sparing time for us. And these are interesting times, and we'll keep coming back to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, and Jai Hind.
Okay. Right. Bye.